Hey crafters, welcome to Creative Moments by G. Guess what time it is? It's paper pumpkin time. We are going to make 10 beautiful cards from this kit called Inked Occasions. Now, I don't want you to worry if you don't have this kit. Stay tuned because you can look at these designs and you can use anything you have to recreate them. So if you have your paper pumpkin kit and it's still not open, let's head down to the crafting table. Let's get busy. Look at these beautiful colors that they have. Oh my goodness. Here are the cards that they sent with the kit. Look at these envelopes. Now, they just sent some stamped sentiments. We didn't get any flowers. And so Maudie and I have added a flower to some of our designs just to give it some variety. But let's go ahead and make our very first card together. Now, this card, we're going to make a twist. I like to call it a twist and shout. But the way you do that is you just grab you a top fold card. So let's get busy. This top fold card is 11 by 4 1/4, and we're going to score it at 5 1/2. Now, the next thing that we want to do is create the twist part of it. So you're just going to take it, and however it's easiest for you to fold, we want to take this corner right here and fold it down. We're creating just a little twist. And so you want to make sure that you get it exactly lined up and that you crimp it right here on this corner right there. So let's look at that. You want to make sure that you start the crimp right there. Now, if you can't do that, you can always use your trimmer to get a really good score line. But this is what happens. And now it just twists open. We get to decorate it, but we have one more panel left that we're going to create. Now, this one is a card that's going just like this. We're going to adhere it to the back, and then it flaps over. And it just gives us another opportunity to decorate it. Plus, when you sign and you put your sentiments in here, you won't be able to see it. So that makes it really nice. So we have these two cards that you'll be working with. Now, the first thing we want to do to decorate is we want to cut a square that is 4 inches. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these beautiful cards that they gave us. And see, this is just a normal card right here, right? So we're going to bring in our trimmer, and I'm going to cut these in half. And we know that it's at 4 1/4. So we just cut those apart. And now, if you do that with all your cards, you've already doubled what you can do with this kit, which is really nice. But we just need a 4-inch square. You need to look at what part of this you want to use. Well, I think I want a little bit of this. I think that teal is just so beautiful. So let's go ahead and just put it right there at 4. Slice it. Now, you want to make sure and keep that because you can use that on another card. And then you need to decide, what part do I not want? I think I'll cut this little part off right here. So now we have our 4-inch square. And all we're going to do is we are going to cut it from our top left corner to our bottom right corner. So let's go ahead and do that. This is such a fun card to make. And there we have our cut triangles. Now, because we cut this a little bit smaller than this square is 4 1/4. So we cut our square 4 inches. So we have this beautiful little white border that you can see. So let's go ahead and just adhere that to our card. Now make sure and stay with us because after this card, I'm going to show you 4 alternatives. And then we're going to make another card together. I like to use wet glue because I wiggle, right? It allows me to get exactly the margin that I want. And look at those colors. Love those colors. Now, I cut a strip for right here, and I'm using our purple or our gorgeous grape. And I went ahead and I embossed it. Because this has swirls in it, I went ahead and I am using the So Swirly embossing folder. Look at that. Has lots of swirls in it. So I'm going to go ahead and just adhere this to the card. Now, this is a very easy card to make. Like I said, I like to call it the twist. Twist and pop card. Twist and shout, right? Remember, we have this panel right here that we're going to connect. Now, there's lots of ways you can decorate this. You can emboss this so that it's just embossed when you close it. And it's embossed right here. Or you could bring it back in and you could add that, which I think will be just beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and do that. But before we do that, let's go ahead and bring in our tape runner and put a little bit of tape right here on this tab so that we don't get anything messed up. Let's go ahead and bring in our silicone mat. Now we're just going to line this up right on the edge, all the way up to this creased area right here. We're going to close it, and this way we know exactly where to put the other part of our square, right? Let's go ahead and adhere that to the card. Now, when you open this, see how it turns? So you have to be careful of how you put your sentiment on there. I think for us, we went ahead and we embossed this beautiful oval, and we are just going to offset it just like this, and we're going to add it to the front. Then we're going to add our sentiment right on top. So let's go ahead and do that. I think we're going to lay these down together. So we're just going to use our tape runner. We're going to position it kind of like a shadow. And then we are going to just add our sentiment right in the center. Now, to add it to our card, we're going to put it just like this. And we want to make sure that we just have our tape right here at the bottom. So I'm going to put my fingers right there, and I know my tape needs to be right down here. So let's get that position, and we're going to try to position it top to bottom, side to side. And look at this. So easy, but you turn it, you open it up, you can decorate this some more, and we had some beautiful flowers that we received. So we're going to go ahead and just add those right there. They were just pop-out flowers from the kit. Now I'm going to very carefully add some glue to the back of this. And now look at our card. What do you think about this twist and pop? So easy to create, but oh my goodness, it just showcases that card beautifully. I'm thinking that we need a few little gems on there, don't you? Let's add some gems. Let's look at some other cards that we created. Now look at this card. We used our card that we received in the kit. We just cut it apart. We cut out a circle of this so that we could make 2 cards. We added it on some dimensionals. We cut out another white circle and just put it down in our little opening. And look at that. We cut off the envelope. They gave us some beautiful envelopes. We added it to our fuchsia card or our melon mambo card. Now, remember we have this circle cut out, right? Look at what we did with it. We took some purple or gorgeous grape cardstock. We embossed our white. We added a strip of the beautiful paper. We set this up on some dimensionals, this beautiful die cut circle. And then we used this flower to decorate. Now remember I said we used a couple stamp sets. We used these 2 stamp sets. Thankful Garden because we love this one and that one. And then Mixed Florals. We love this flower right here. Now, you probably have flowers of your choice in your stash. Use those. So these 2 cards were made from the same card that we cut apart. And now we have this one. Look at this. We used that flower. We used our blends to color it. We just created a panel with the card that came with the kit. We cut out a little banner here. Isn't that beautiful? And we used their sentiment, so pretty. You open it up and we used another piece of that beautiful card. We added a sentiment mat right there and just added our flowers. Look at those colors. And our 5th card for this set is just a panel card. Now, we will link below this video, just click on more, a link so that you can see how to make this card. But look at that. We just cut apart the cards, created some panels, added some gold. We added the beautiful little punch out that they gave us underneath the sentiment. You open it up and how beautiful is that? Now for this second card, we're just creating an A2 portrait or a landscape card. And we just cut it at 8.5 by 5.5 and we scored at 4 1/4. But now we need to make one more score line. You're going to put this in and we're going to score at 1 1/4. This is a really cute fun fold card. And what we do right here is we have it folded. We're going to turn it and we're just going to fold that back. And it then gives us 3 panels to work with. We have 1, 2, 3. So now all we have to do is cut apart our cards that we received. And our cards, we want to use this paper right here. We want it to be long enough and we need to have it 5 1/4. We need one panel at 1.5 by 5 1/4. So let's cut that first. Let's go ahead and cut this at 1.5 all the way down. We're keeping our card together and we're just cutting it all the way down. Now we need the length of it to be 5 1/4. So let's just put that in there. I'm going to keep this piece for another card. This is a great scrap. Now we also need to cut from this a 1-inch piece. So let's go ahead and just line it up right here with the 1 inch. Bring it all the way down and cut it at 5 1/4. Now, all you have to do to make this card is we are going to add this right here. We're going to put the crease right at the bottom. So let's go ahead and just adhere that to the card. Now, you can always double mat if you want, but just to keep it simple yet beautiful, we are just cutting the card apart and using that as our mat. Now, we want to make sure that we have the same border top to bottom, side to side. So I can see that we do. Now let's lay this one down on the card. And we didn't want to do the same panel, so we're bringing in a coordinated color. Now, I think we need to go ahead and run this through that beautiful embossing folder, and you'll be able to see the difference. So we went from a very flat piece of cardstock to, look at that, just really gave it some dimension. And it just pops now when you lay it down. So let's adhere that to our card. This embossing folder creates some crevices, so you need to get enough glue on there to where it really gets in those crevices. So I used my wet glue so I could wiggle, and look at this. Oh, so pretty. But now we need to decorate the front. Now you can always mat this inside, not to worry. But what we're going to do is we are going to just lay this right on top. Congratulations, just like this. We are going to set it up on some dimensionals. I'm going to bring in my silicone mat and just add this to the back of the congratulations. Now we're going to put some dimensionals right here. Now you want to make sure that you don't put dimensionals where it's going to stick to this card right there. And now we have our easy trifold. That's what it looks like, right? Look at that. So easy to create, but oh my goodness. You can really pick another coordinating color there. You could pick a fuchsia, berry burst, coastal cabana. You could pick some of these purples here. But just beautiful. Stands up perfectly, of course. You can go back in and give this a really good crease. That helps it stay shut. So we have this. So let's look at our second group of cards. Now look at this one. We did a floating card. We also created a beautiful border here. You open it up. We did sending love, and just a little tip, because you could see the tape where we taped our cardstock to the front of this acetate, we just went ahead and we put another piece of cardstock over it so that you wouldn't see the tape. But we love this floating card. Next, we made a diagonal cut. We just cut apart our cards in the kit. We added that beautiful gold oval. We added that beautiful oval just to nest inside. We punched out that flower, added hugs. Look at how beautiful that is. Added a few little gems. We created a flap card. Look at that. Cut out some circles. We used the card and stamped over it right here with that flower. Look at that. It did the coloring for us. You open it up and you have it. Your card to write on. So pretty. Now this one will have a link. Check below the video to see which cards have a link. You will see exactly how to create them. And finally, we created another floating card. Look at that. This is the card that we cut apart. We used the congratulations. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. You open it up, and so that you wouldn't see the tape that we used to tape to this acetate, We just used part of the card. How beautiful is that? Well, what do you think about these 10 cards that we made from this kit? Now, I want to remind you, you don't have this kit, not to worry. You can still create these beautiful cards using your stash. But if you were lucky enough to get this kit, you can see that it was beautiful. Those swirls, the color coordination, just gorgeous. And we hope that you were inspired by our video to open up that kit and make your alternatives. If you were inspired, we sure would appreciate it if you would take a moment and like and share our video to help us grow. Well, until next time, Maudie and I wish you lots of creative moments. Bye-bye.